Alright everybody, and welcome to another exciting game of Age of Empires Deathmatch brought to you by AOC Realm. And today's game we have WeArePaladins in the blue against Swagger Jagger. And if you are a complete idiot and have no idea, or you're just completely new and haven't watched any of the videos yet, we have WeArePaladins playing as the Franks against Swagger Jagger as the Mongols. This is round one for Masters of Deathmatch tournament. And if you did not know, I'm your host, your commentator, DarKTooth. And we'll jump right into it here. Since WeArePaladins is the Franks, probably be seeing a nice little rush into Swagger Jagger's base. He already has the 4 to 5 stables up. Speed it up just a little bit, and he is doing a wonderful combination of the barracks and stables techniques, of course, since he is the Franks. Sending a few paladins in there, going for those villagers, trying to slow the expansion and growth of overall from Swagger Jagger. Swagger Jagger does have those 2 castles up. Really not going to be able to do much damage against those two castles. Usually players just as that will break off their rush, and WeArePaladins is doing a great job of already expanding up to the forefront of more than half of the map to Swagger Jagger. Really sending those units up. Already started creating a town center within the first 6 minutes. Good stuff. Already created his first monastery, going for a second one, looking for a early capture of those relics. But he's going to have to be careful because 2 relics are right in the neighborhood of Swagger Jagger. And we do have our first major conflict. Swagger Jagger making plenty of those Maggie dive, but WeArePaladins are already having the 2 trebuchets attacking that castle, and Swagger Jagger does have that 1 villager, but it's not going to be enough to save that castle. It's going to go down. Whoops. It's going to go down within the next hit. WeArePaladins pushed up with an aggressive castle, and that's going to force Swagger Jagger to play defense a little bit more, have to retreat all the way back. Can't believe that castle is still up. I guess Swagger Jagger did a good job of getting those trebuchets, but it didn't do any good. Castle still went down to 1 castle left. Oh, well, he's got a few over here. 1 castle left in the front lines, more so. Oh, where's that coming from? Oh, he had a hidden Onger. So attacking that castle. WeArePaladins is doing a great job of expanding pretty rapidly, putting a few farms up in the front lines of that. Front lines of Swagger Jagger, though, playing pretty cocky. Uh-oh, doesn't have any kind of army whatsoever to protect his trebuchets. Kind of a rookie move there. Even though he does have 2 monasteries, he has yet to do anything about collecting those relics, except for that one. As I said, he did go for one of the further relics, trying to get those quickly before Swagger Jagger is able to. And we do have a trebuchet battle. We have 4 trebuchets against that 1, and Swagger Jagger now has 0 trebuchets. And WeArePaladins is now attacking the siege weaponry with his trebuchets. And all in the meantime doing a wonderful job at expanding. But let's see, he is having a problem with his food right now, and he is also at the population limit. Seems like he has quite a bit of villagers. I would say that most of his population is probably villagers. And most of the population for Swagger Jagger is probably going to be military. And that's actually paying off quite well for Swagger Jagger, being able to hold off attack after attack, assault after assault from WeArePaladins. And now we have Swagger Jagger coming back with his own trebuchet, starting to attack that most aggressive castle. And we do have a little bit of an attempt of raiding, to having WeArePaladins now pushing up, but it seems like it's all going to be such a futile attempt, having no kind of real army to back up his sneak attack on the bottom side of the map, trying to force his way in there. Swagger Jagger just has too much of an army. But now at the front lines, we do have a little bit of a misdirection. Now we have WeArePaladins attacking with coming up with 4 trebuchets, but if he's not careful, Swagger Jagger is going to be able to take out those trebuchets, but he's not really focusing. So a lucky break for WeArePaladins, and he's really going to town with those 4 trebuchets, but he better watch out. 2 of them were taken out by a well-placed shot by Swagger Jagger's siege weaponry, and now he does retreat using the 3 castles as defense and really doing a great job with this army control. And if you're keeping score, Swagger Jagger has really been able to hold on to a good portion of his army that he had from the first conflict, and WeArePaladins just been going through units, and that might be paying off pretty well for Swagger Jagger, not really having to do much of an economy and really keeping pace with WeArePaladins. But we also all know map control can really mean the game, and it's probably going to mean this in this particular game. Really don't know what Swagger Jagger was really thinking. He has to know that map control means everything. And here we go with WeArePaladins doing a well-placed raid. GGs have been sent around the board, and that is it. Swagger Jagger does resign, and we're going to go ahead and jump into our next game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, we are now having a switch for Game 2, Round 1 of Masters of DM. And as you just watched, WeArePaladins was able to come off with a pretty easy victory with the Franks. But now we are switching the hot seat, and we do have the Swagger Jagger in the possession of the infamous Franks. And we'll see if he's able to capitalize with having what many would consider the superior civilization, but depending on your skill level, I'm sure many people think the Mongols are just as good. But it's just a little bit easier to be better with the Franks, considering they have a little bit better of a paladin. And Swagger Jagger better not waste any time putting paladins into production inside that stable if he wants to keep up with the likes of WeArePaladins. Oh, he just now got a paladin in after having that stable up for a good couple of seconds, and that can be crucial seconds if anybody knows playing against a player of the caliber of WeArePaladins. Don't you just love that sound? Sounds like a horse screaming, being slaughtered. Don't have much of a rush coming from the Swagger Jagger side. For some reason, my thing is a little backwards. There we are. The colors were off. And Swagger Jagger's having a little bit of a population problem. He better get a villager on those on that house. Don't worry about a town center. Get those houses up, kid. It's gonna really put a damper. More milliseconds wasted. So he's gonna have a real tough time keeping up with WeArePaladins. I'm sure he's not having much of a problem. As you can see, his population is well above what his actual population is. Or his available population is more than his current. Always a good thing. And now we finally have Swagger Jagger sending a few units in for a little bit of a delayed rush, and really not going to be able to do much. Already has 2 castles up in his base, already working on all of his siege. And personally, I was thinking about this earlier. If I was a civilization such as the Mongols, and obviously they have good siege, and I was playing against the civilization of the Franks, which are a pretty fast civilization. You're gonna mainly make paladins and Habalier. Your slowest unit will probably be a axeman, and obviously a player playing with the Franks is probably not going to make too many axemen against a unit you already know a civilization that's going to make Maggie die or whatever. So I was thinking that Scorps would actually be a better siege weapon to create, because I haven't seen the Ongers be very effective against the faster Paladins, and we're gonna try to catch a few shots and see if we can see any good hits by those Ongers against the Paladins, or if I think I'm right, and they're just gonna be Paladins are just gonna be too fast. And we have our face major conflict. Swagger Jagger going in with quite a bit less of a army and really paying for it, having to retreat all the way, looks like, back to his base, losing more than half of his units. He's really going to have to pump out some extra units to make up for that. Now we have WeArePaladins trying to capitalize on that retreat, but he is now making the same mistake, having to retreat a little bit, and he's making a good decision in taking that hill, especially with his ranged units. It's always a good thing to be attacking from down the hill. Doing a good job at expanding during all the conflict. The signs of a great player, being able to multitask during all the craziness. We do have that Onger fire that I was talking about, really not hitting anything except for those trees. Swagger Jagger coming out with a few siege workshops of his own, creating a few Scorps, as I was saying. Don't really know how effective the Frank siege weaponry is going to be against the Mongols. And there we have WeArePaladins being able to defeat most of Swagger Jagger's army. And Swagger Jagger has captured the market, and that's why we're seeing a sudden boost of army coming from Swagger Jagger. Does have quite a large army now without doing much mining whatsoever. And he was able to defeat WeArePaladins' entire army, and now pushing inside of his base with that extremely expensive army. And I was also thinking one good thing to do if you ever lose your castle and it was not fully created, what WeArePaladins should do in this situation is delete that, and he'll actually get the stone back. But if your enemy kills the building, then it is wasted resources. That's why you see, if you ever play against the computer, you always see if you attack that villager, kill that villager before the